Lawrence. And what does that mean? It means that even when you die, or if such a person dies, God forbid I use Lawrence. So if such a person dies, then definitely, because I mean, here he or she has been a candle, he has been this someone they look up to as someone who's going to help in every way, then it means again, everyone is looking at whatever you're leaving behind to still continue surviving, because you have been that kind of person. And we also look at vulnerable dependent relatives like parents, nieces, nephews, ailing and dependent parents, among others. Your parent is sick in the village there, and it's entirely, even the medication depends on you. If you don't send that medication, then they're not going to survive. Yeah. So we don't close our eyes to the face of social ills, of moral decadence, greed, and fraud. Therefore, one cannot guarantee, yeah, that after one's death, the welfare of your children or other loved ones will not be prejudiced. Estate planning also reminds us that it does not concern itself only on preserving and protecting estates of the dead. It's also important to remember that even in one's lifetime, yeah, there can be physical disability or mental. We hear a lot of depression these days. You look at someone and, I mean, they are not okay, but they have this big estate. Yeah. They are we've seen even cases in court where someone has a big estate, but then they cannot manage their affairs. Yeah. We have people that have strokes, and you have a stroke, and then you're left in that situation where you cannot even attend to your businesses. But then you have beneficiaries, you have children that are supposed to continue going to school, you have dependent relatives that need your presence, and there is this estate that can actually take care of them, but then you cannot run your estate because you are incapacitated, you in that state that cannot allow you to manage your affairs. And then we look at also disappearance. We know that you wake up one morning and you're no longer available. Yeah. They look for you, they report to police puts efforts in place, but then they can't find you. But then you've left behind an estate with beneficiaries that actually need to be taken care of. Yeah. So making estate planning a very important aspect of our lives. Now, what is the meaning of estate planning? Because we're speaking about estate planning. This is the simple definition that I actually got. Estate planning means making rational and strategic plans for the management of a person's property and affairs in his or her lifetime, and also for the management of his or her property in the eventuality of death or disability, physical, mental, or senility. That is the definition that I could actually land on. It involves determining a person's sources of income and assets, how to preserve them during his or her lifetime, for his or her benefit, and for the welfare of his or her dependent relatives and loved ones in the event of his or her death, disability, or senility. Yeah, senility, I mean when you're senile, there are those moments. It also involves management of a person's property and income, as well as one's financial obligations, such as tax obligations, debts, yeah, we talk about loans, among others. Estate planning can best be achieved where one consults professionals. Yeah, sometimes it's going to be so hard for you to actually manage. Yeah, you may want services of lawyers, you may want services of auditors, tax consultants, surveyors, among others. Yeah, so you may want to involve some of those professions. The professions, like I said, not all of them are fraudulent. Yeah, you will find every profession has those that can be fraudsters. Yes, but again, many are there and doing their work to please their clients, but also most of the times I say to glorify whoever they believe in. So yeah, estate planning can be done through the following strategies. Yeah, writing a valid and strategic will, that is one. creating a carefully planned trust, that is 2, having both a valid will and in its what we call a testamentary trust. I'll mention this briefly, one after the other. I'll start with writing a valid will. Yeah, please make wills. Yeah, our Alliance, dear Alliance, our dear guests listening in. We know that in Uganda you have that myth that I hear, when you make a will, you're about to die. Who tells you? Who knows even when you're going to die? You do not know when you're going to die. I do not know when I'm going to die, but we know that we are all candidates. Yeah. And at any moment it can happen. You'll be with someone today, the following morning, and they tell you, oh, this person was in the bathroom and they fell and died. Or they were here and they died. Yeah. So you can't imagine what a valid will can save you from your family from. Yeah. We be in courts, and families can fight. You go to the family division, Kampala, and see. You will not believe. Families can fight for properties. Properties, yes. Remember, they are fighting for property of a deceased person. Someone died. You struggled. You hustled, made your money, and purchased all these properties. And people are here fighting. One time we were, you go to the family division, you go to the Administrator General's office, and you can't believe. Mothers suing children, children suing mothers, children suing fathers, siblings suing each other. In fact, some practically want to fight before judicial officers, like I was saying. Yeah. One time we were attending a mediation, and this mediation was conducted by a white a mediator from America. We were waiting, like you are in a queue, your mediation is from this time, and so you're waiting for the family that was in to finish, come out, and then you also enter. And before we knew it, they were coming out flat. Like the mediator was a white from America. I think they do some kind of exchanges, or maybe for you to finish your course or something, you're supposed to come to, maybe Africa or somewhere and conduct this. And so she was doing that. And we saw people flying out of the mediation room, practically fighting. Moreover, they were fighting, it was up there. And so we were wondering, we all started running away, because the speed at which they came from the room was terrible. And then our fear was that someone was going to even throw another from up there to down, until when they had to call the police from the gate to come and try and calm the situation. Yeah. I do not know, because at the end of that, of course, I think they go back with a report. We wondered what this white American was going to actually write in her report, because it was a very scary kind of situation. So this is what happens. And remember, they fight for properties of a dead person. That is why it is important that sometimes you enjoy your money. You work for this money. Get some time and enjoy your money. Personally, my daughter is listening in. I enjoy my money. I normally tell them, they tell us as Lions, sometimes we have opportunities of going for conventions. For you, you don't want to go for a convention. They tell you have meanwhile the money. It is different if you don't have the money. But when you have it, my friend, utilize it. There are some Lions that have been for international conventions. They count and you're like, okay, district conventions, why not? When a holiday, go for a holiday, have some fun. For me, when I am, I have the money, I will go. I tell even my husband, my friend, me, I am going. You're remaining, he's also listening in. You're remaining, me, I'm going. It should be here. I'm going. Yeah, because we have to enjoy sometimes our money. When I want to eat something good, oh yes, I will eat it. I will go. Recently, I was telling my daughter, I was, that so-called intermittent fasting. And so by 11 o'clock, that is when you want to eat, but then it stretched up to around midday, and I was so hungry. But then I wanted to eat good food. So I went, sat myself down in a very nice place. I ordered for my food and I ate. I took a picture. I sent to him like, in fact, you have even started making your own command. And she's like, yes, mommy, enjoy. Enjoy. Even the young ones, after all, they have their father take care of, them. So take those moments and have, for as long as you know you're not going to go and eat that food of 60,000, and then at home you don't have matoke or kawunga for your family. For as long as you know they are okay, you're not using the 60K for food. You're not using that 2-3 million for a convention. When you're living, when you're coming back and your children do not have school fees, go and enjoy. Yeah. Go and have some fun, because the only money that you can feel you have spent on yourself is the money that you actually spend on you. The money that you spend on yourself. You want a good car, you can afford it, buy it. You want to go for a holiday with your wife. Go and have fun. Go and have fun, because you are toiling for this money. You do not want a situation where you're going to pass and you are there hustling, struggling, and then people are here fighting, and they fight. They fight in total disregard of what you went through to actually obtain whatever you have obtained. And so it's so disheartening. If only the deceased could see what goes on when they are gone. Yeah, I believe there would be shudder. You shudder in your grave, because some of these people that actually get hold of your property cannot even sustain the properties. They cannot even keep them. You can't even imagine. You do the distribution. I'll give a personal experience. Yeah, for us, we shared our land, our daddy's land, some time back. And there was, in these meetings, people were saying, no, let us leave the land, because whoever can't manage wherever they are, they will come and take a bit of a piece of a construct and be there. Land is near here in Bombo. Yeah, but I'm telling you, you think you will have such a situation, but people will, to avoid the confusion, because you might think, let me leave it there. Whoever, like Waganda say, whoever fails wherever they are, they will come. But trust me, this land is like, say, some parts are on the road. So if Chiseka comes and constructs something on the road, we are like 8. And then another one comes on the road. And then the other one will start complaining. And at what is the size that you're trying to take over? To construct on? Is there some kind of equality with all the others? Before you know it, it's confusion and confusion. That's why it is important that people distribute, so that everyone gets to know where they pass and all that. But I'm telling you, after even some that were saying, oh, it is our legacy, manya inheritance, manya what? The moment we distributed and everyone got to know that I pass here and here, these are my boundaries, that very week, 2 of our brothers sold. They sold at a giveaway price, by the way. And one of them was let us do what? Let us actually preserve. But they sold off. They sold off at a giveaway price. Of course, the price that they sold their property is unbelievable, because at least for now, when you look at us, if at all we wanted to sell, we would sell at a better price. Yeah. But that is what actually happens. Yeah. That if you are gone there and you see what you really treasured, and then someone is just throwing it away to some others, it's very disheartening. So we go back to a will. What is it? Yeah. What is a will? We talked about drafting that we should make wills. Yeah, very, very important. This will is a document. Yeah, I will give a definition that connotes a legal expression or declaration of a person's mind or wishes as to the disposition of his or her property to be performed or take effect after his or her death. Yeah, so you write your will. It has all your wishes, how you want your properties to be dealt with, who you want to partake of your properties. Yeah, and it only takes this will by its nature is ambulatory. That is, it must establish the testator's wishes. Like we say, the testator is the person who makes a will and only takes effect upon the death of a testator. In other words, it can only take effect, it can only have that legal effect when you, or the person who has actually made this will has died. So when one makes a will, because it establishes his or her wishes at the time of his or her death, courts are actually inclined to interfere with the person's wishes unless in circumstances where equity and justice requires. Yeah. So the law gives insights on persons capable of making wills, and it tells you that you must be of sound mind. So in other words, you must be in your normal faculty, not impaired in any way that substantially affects your ability or one's ability to make this will, because we know that even people who have impairments, for example, physical impairments, speech impairments, or visual impairments, can actually make wills if able to do so. Even persons with mental illness, yeah, even a person with mental illness can actually make a will during their lucid moments, yeah, those moments when they are okay. Sometimes people have these issues. These issues are actually periodical. They are periodical, and so in those moments when they are okay, they can actually make wills. So the law provides for the form of a will. And whoever is making one can follow that, although no taking words or terms of art should be used, but only wordings to be used should be such that the intention of the testator can be known. Yeah. In other words, your will should not be ambiguous or uncertain. The words in there should be so clear, because every time you have a will that is confusing, then suddenly people are not going to understand what you meant, and you may end up, even if it's a valid one, they may end up not using it, yeah? And they'll go into the process of obtaining letters of administration because they did not actually understand what you meant in there, or it may create a lot of confusion with that beneficiaries, because they're wondering, what did daddy mean here? What did mommy mean? Mommy said this and that, and so it's confusing. So you must make sure you're clear when you're making this will with the words that you actually use. What should form part of your will? Yeah, what should form part of your will? Number one, you must give your full particulars and address. Yeah, give your full particulars, give your full names, give your address in its entirety. Yeah, you have to mention all your children by names, and if you can, by ages. Yeah, you say, I have this son, have the following children, and mention even the ages. Mention the dependent relatives, if any. Yeah, the persons, like I said, at the time of the death, of your death, of the testator's death, who were entirely depending on the person who has died. Mention them by giving even their names and maybe their places of abode. So then persons can actually clearly understand the person you meant. Don't say, even my auntie should get this. Which auntie? Mention the name of the auntie. Mention even my parent. Which parent? Mention the name, because you certainly should know the name. Yeah. In this will, you must mention all the properties you own. Yeah. All the properties you own, giving them full description. The block number, if it's registered land, make sure you have the block number, the plot number, and also where this land is situated. Yeah. So then there is no confusion on what you actually meant. And then it's very, very important that as you're willing, you actually pay attention to several other aspects. Yeah. By if you have money in the bank, again, you mention the accounts. You may not mention the monies, but you mention the account. I have accounts in this and this and this bank. If you have, for example, money pending for compensation, your land was earmarked and mapped for specific projects, and so you're waiting for compensation. Indicate that in your will, for as long as you've not got the money yet. You have benefits from NSSF, you have benefits from insurance, you have benefits everywhere, gratuities and all that. Make sure you mention those in your will, so then your beneficiaries tomorrow know where to look when they are trying to actually collect all that forms part of your estate. Yeah, very, very important is that you don't include properties that do not belong to you, because you're going to cause confusion. If you know you own property jointly with someone else, again, clearly speak that I own this property with so and so. And so perhaps my share is this much, and then they remain with this much. You do not want a situation where your family is going to run to someone, they want to kill them because, oh, our father said our father said you own this property with him. Our mother said you own this property. And so we have be clear. What are your shares? Yeah. What are your shares in that property? And include only your shares. We have family land. Sometimes you are a heir. Yeah. And so I mean, when your father was passing, they left you as a heir of this family. This is an ancestral home with land where you're buried. So you should be clear, is it your land? It is not your land. Oftentimes that is not part of your land. Although you're the one taking care, you should know this is ancestral an ancestral home land, and as such, it's not subject for distribution by your beneficiaries, and you must make sure you clearly indicate that. Yeah, in your will, you must name an executor. Who is this person? An executor is someone who is going to administer your estate. Mention them, yeah, give us a proper description of this person, their names, particulars, yeah, to clearly indicate that they are the ones that are going to help you administer the estate. Of course, we know if you forget to name an executor, your will is not invalid, but what is the purpose of a will if you're not even naming someone who's going to help you distribute your estate? So name that executor. You may appoint a customary heir in your will. Yeah, for those clans or people that come from clans that really embrace customary heirs, name your customary heir. It's important to understand that there's a difference between a heir and an executor. Some people think when they name you as a heir, you're automatically an executor. No. If you want that to happen, then clearly indicate it in your will. Yeah, indicate it in your will, so then someone knows, yes, I am the executor. At the same time, a customary heir. If you have minor children, you can appoint a guardian. Yeah, appoint a guardian to actually take care of the children. It can be your auntie, it can be even a friend. You're like, okay, the guardian of my children will be so and so to help you take care of your minor children. In that will, distribute your estate to your beneficiaries, like I said. Distribute your clearly stating, yeah? You must be clear. If you're not clear, again, it creates issues. Yeah, it creates state that I am giving this and this to so and so my daughter, so to my son, to my auntie, to my grandparent or auntie, if at all she's a dependent relative, because I am the one who has been taking care of her, and I know this will help. It will go a long way to continue sustaining them. Yeah. So indicate, distribute your property in your will. Yeah. If you deny others, some of the beneficiaries that are entitled. If you decide to deny any, your property, again, clearly indicate, give proper explanations why you're actually denying them. Because if you don't, they can seek, of course, court's leave to actually be able to be catered for, because the law clearly provides for those provisions where if I am your beneficiary and you have not provided for me, then they can move court, and court will definitely provide for them. They will not render your will invalid, but court will still listen and say, okay, this one is a beneficiary and they were left out in a will, and but they deserve, to get something from that estate, and court will provide for them. I'll give an example. I had a friend of mine who was handling a certain case in court. And this was a son contesting the will of the father. And what was the reason? The father was a rich one, with the lands, acres of lands in Buyikwe, Nakasongora. He had a very big farm, had properties. But the father willed and did not give him anything. But in that will, what was in the will? The father said, Muluganda, omwana yankuba. Simuwadde wadde akajiiko k'ettaka akole ebibye. Literally meaning, my son so and so beat me. I have not given him even a spoon of I don't know, spoon of soil or a spoon of land. He should work and make his own money to purchase whatever he wants. The father clearly indicated that. Omwana yankuba. So this man, during the reading of the will, he contested because he thought he was the loved one, and so this cannot be a valid will. It cannot. But yet he could remember very well that at one point he beat up his father because of some arguments. And so he went to court contesting the will. And trust me, even court threw out the case. Because, I mean, who beats the father and then you expect to share from? He could not win the case. Yeah, he could not win that case because the father clearly explained why he's denying his son land. You can also give out specific gifts in your will. It gives you the opportunity to give out specific gifts. You're like, okay, my church, yes, it has nurtured me spiritually and I want to, but of course there's a law also that regulates that. It's very, very important that you again consult so then you don't give out a gift to a church, but then the church will not even be taking it because in one way or the other, it will be unlawful because it has not followed the law. Clearly describe what you have given and to who. Yeah, you can also exercise in your will. You can also exercise your burial rights. Yeah, because we have seen situations where people are fighting. Yet we know very well that, you should know that people start fighting for dead bodies. Yet the principle is that no one owns a dead body. But then you see someone is on, instead of being buried, someone's saying, no, they're supposed to be buried here. No, this. So in your will, clearly indicate where you intend to be buried. Yeah, because I will give an example. You may be having an ancestral home. That is where your father was buried, your ancestors, grand, and that is where you want to actually be buried. You even speak about it with your sisters or what? But then in Kampala, Nakauka there, you have your wife, and with your wife, you have established a village home, town village, yeah? A town village on 10 acres. You have everything. The land is so big that it can actually bury everyone you want from your lineage, from you, yeah? And so your wife thinks that in case of any demise in the circumstances, we all lie here. So at the point of your death, because you have not written anything, your family starts fighting with your wife. Your wife is saying, no, this is our village, town village. We have country home. I am burying my husband here. And then your people, the other side, your mother, no, this has been our ancestral home. Before you know it, you are in court. Yeah, you are in court because we've seen cases in court where people are fighting. And of course, the different cases that have been determined all emphasize one thing, that if the wishes of the dead person are respected more. And how do they even respect? How does even court respect this? Court can only respect this if it has been written down. Yeah, you have written it down. But if someone is coming, no, nze yangamba, akangambira, yankobera, yakukobera, you might find court will not even believe you. You're just maybe ganging up against someone who's saying no. And so some decisions in courts have are to the effect that write down. If it's not written down, then some cases have decided that the spouse actually wins. They will decide to bury you where, if you are a wife and you have died, if there's some kind of and there's nothing to actually show that the deceased person made their wishes to be buried in a specific place, then oftentimes the spouses win. So in your will, make sure you actually indicate where you want to be buried to avoid those confusions that actually come at such moments. Even a pauper can make a will, someone who doesn't have anything, by simply mentioning where they wish to be buried. Yeah, you don't have any, and even then no one doesn't have it. You have something small that you treasure. You can give that to someone, but also indicate that I want to be buried here. Very important is that you sign your will. Sign on the will. If it is more than one page, sign on all pages. as you sign, there should be at least 2 people, not to see what you have necessarily put up there, because you don't want people to start saying, "Whoa, yeah, what don't know?" Some people. You make your will. When you make your will, the law dictates that there should be 2 people there to attest the fact that they saw you appending your signature on this will. If the will is more than 1 page, make sure that you sign on every page of the will, but also your witnesses should sign on this will. It is very important that the witnesses should not be beneficiaries of the estate. They should not be people that are going to benefit from your estate. Why? Because such a will can be contested by imputing undue influence or coercion. So leave your beneficiaries out of this. And some troubles that come when people get to know what is in your will and their beneficiaries. They will, "Oh, this one has been given this. How? The others can even kill you." They're like, "Oh, so they have given me this much. Okay, this person should go very fast so that I enjoy whatever they have given me." So it's very, very important that your beneficiaries do not get to even know that you have actually made this will. Yeah, make your will, decide on how you're going to deal with it, and then make sure people that you trust attest to that will. Where to keep this will, very, very important. Yeah. Because you don't want a situation where you're going to give some poor will, but they will never know even when you pass. They will never know when the person dies. Yeah. And people deal with the estate as that of an intestate person, someone who has not made a will. And then after 2, 3, 4 months, they've already distributed the estate. You are coming with a will. Oh, the deceased person actually left this. It is a will here. I mean, the status quo has already changed. Properties have been dealt with, and you're coming with a will. So it is very, very important that the person, or normally people keep wills with banks, people keep wills with law firms, people keep wills with trusted friends. Yeah. So you leave your will with a trusted friend, seal it, and just indicate will my will. Someone who will know when you're going to die, and they will be available to inform the family that yes, during his or her lifetime, he actually left this will, and as such, we need to read it and understand the contents. So then you deal with the estate as per the wishes of this deceased person. Yeah. You can change your will. Yeah, you can make changes, you can amend it, you can destroy it. You only destroy it by burning, you destroy it by throwing it in pit latrine, you destroy it by tearing it. You can amend with what we call a codicil. Yeah, you have purchased more property, you make what we call a codicil and include that property, and also decide on who takes that property. So you can actually make changes depending on what you think. You have produced an extra child, more children than the ones you had prior to making this will. Again, you can make the changes. You marry, yeah. When you marry, you made a will before marrying. You now married. That one changes practically everything. You have to make another will. Yeah, because no one is allowed to actually alter or modify or improve the terms of a will of a person who has died. Otherwise, they would be acting contrary to the wishes of the testator. You are the only one who has powers to actually deal with a will. Therefore, a will binds all those who are beneficiaries thereunder and the entire world, unless it is challenged or declared a nullity by a competent court. Yeah. Dr. Professor, am I there?
Yes, you are there. I hope it is now 8. I think this subject requires a lot of discussion. Probably you could be winding up to allow a lot of discussion.
Okay. But I still have a lot. Anyway. Yes, let me try to sum up. Not even summing up. But let me try to run through. We talked of creating a carefully planned trust. This can be used in in your lifetime, the lifetime of a grantor or creator, and also after his or her death. What is a trust? When we speak about a trust, what is it? It is a legal arrangement which provides for the transfer of assets from the owner, called the grantor, or a trustor, to the grantee or trustee, to manage them for the benefit of a specific purpose of the beneficiaries of a trust. Yeah. Like I said, it can be used during your lifetime. You can have a living trust that can be used during your lifetime. And separately or together, wills and trusts can be used for effective estate planning. A will which is carefully and strategically prepared can create what we call a testamentary trust, which can be used to effectively manage a person's assets and income after his or her death. Yeah. When we talk about a trust, it's important to know that it is that the most important consideration of and determinant of an ideal strategy of estate planning, however, is the nature, size, and complexity of the estate. So if the estate is so big, yeah, you may also look at the trust as a way of planning your estate. You must bear in mind that the meaning and nature of a will on the one hand and the trust on the other, as well as what makes each valid, is very, very important. You must bear that in mind. The role of your legal advisor in the case is to guide you or to guide his or her client to choose the ideal strategy depending on the client's needs and to help him or her to strategically plan. Yeah. So on advising you with a trust, your advisor should be able to know all the features of a valid trust. The types are so many. Yeah. The types are so many. We have living trust, like I said, we have a testamentary trust, we have a revocable trust, an irrevocable trust, a simple trust, implied trust, constructive trust, and charitable trust. I'll not mention all those because we don't have the time. And so in this trust, you are supposed to clearly indicate, you have property. For example, for persons that have schools, you have hospitals, you're like, no, because we should understand the meaning of administering the estate. Administering means and includes distributing the estate. So you have a vast estate and you think, no, this school should be my legacy. This school should be kept. Yeah. So you, in your trust, in your will, you make your will, you come up with a trust in there, clearly indicating which properties should form part of that trust, who are going to be your trustees. These trustees stand in a fiduciary position in relation to the beneficiaries and thus have a legal duty to manage the trust in the best interest of the beneficiaries. Very, very important. You indicate the property, yeah, and the trustees. You can even give the trust the name in your will, yeah. So we know that such a trust will only take legal effect upon your death. It is upon your death that then your trustees, if you've mentioned them in there, can then go through the normal procedures of registering the trust, identifying those properties that are going to form part of the trust, and all the other aspects that are required. What are the steps in estate planning? Estate planning involves identifying one's assets, properties, and sources of income, and taking conscious steps to plan for its management and preservation, of course, with the major objective of providing for the needs one has identified for his or her lifetime, and in the event of death, disability, and disappearance. Yeah. So estate planning is important because of one, it curbs or minimizes disputes in the event of disability or death, because the administration or management of the estate is actually streamlined. Two, it provides for the welfare of the spouse, the minor children, or dependent relatives. Three, it minimizes the cost of administering one's estate in the event of disability or death or disappearance. In cases of mental illness, costs of court applications for appointment of personal representatives would be avoided. Mental illness, disappearance, you have to go file petitions to be able to, manage the estate of this person who has disappeared. But once you have planned, then certainly you're avoiding all that. Properties transferred to unrevocable trust will be protected from even the trustors' creditors, such as judgment creditors. Very, very important. No publicity. You know, when you plan your estate, there is that privacy that is guaranteed. Yeah. If one dies intestate, when you die without making a will or without planning, yes, then your properties are managed in accordance with the Succession Act, which places your dependents and children in a precarious position given the social evils, moral decadence, and greed plus fraud that we normally see. The other advantages that you can provide for charitable, one can provide for charitable causes, of course, in one's lifetime or even after the grantor's death. But when you die without this, then it may be hard. But in your trust deed or in your will, you can actually clearly indicate where the charitable organization that you wish to provide for can benefit. Yeah, preservation of family legacy is very, very important. You have a hospital, you've been having these hospitals for God knows what. You can only preserve it under estate planning. Yeah, under estate planning. You form a trust, this hospital is in there, no one touches it. Yeah, it will be there for generations because it must be so clear with an objective. What is the objective of this trust? Yeah, who are the beneficiaries to this trust? And yeah, the legacy will be protected. Once all this is done, upon one's death, yeah, where the deceased has left a will and appointed an executor, yeah, you apply, yeah, you apply to court for what we call a grant of probate, and once it is issued, then you start administering the estate. Administering the estate, like I said, means distributing. They will distribute. They don't give you letters of administration or a grant of probate to keep property. No. In fact, when you keep property, you are committing an offense. The penal code will clearly state that you can even go to prison. They give you authority to deal with the estate. You must distribute. Distribute. So and so, who are the beneficiaries? They are 10. Okay. Who takes what? Who takes what? The law requires you that after getting this grant, within 6 months, you have to file what we call an inventory, and then subsequently final accounts. An inventory is simply stating how you have distributed the estate. If you don't do it, that one also becomes another issue. Yeah. So and where one of course passes without leaving a will, then the family goes through that entire process of appointing an administrator and getting letters of administration. One piece of advice that I can give, especially to our men, you know, who decide to have like children outside your marriages, you know, plan strategically. Yeah, plan for your wife, plan for your children, or what you should understand that the children rank equally. Whether the children has been produced within the wedlock or outside, there is no illegitimate child in Uganda. All of them are ranking equally when it comes to distribution of the property. But when you plan for your children, yeah, plan for all of them. If you're planning for the children outside the wedlock, plan very well. Plan well in a sense that you're not going to allow confusion. Confusion can happen when you're gone. We normally advise men to have some little bit of respect. Sometimes it's so hard for you to even tell your wife at home that I have another wife there with children. And so you keep quiet. You don't even mention. Meanwhile, you're here accumulating wealth with your wife in the home. Yeah? Some wives, I'll give an example where a wife had even working with a government entity that is so good. So she had even early retirement and started to go and they invested with her husband in the very, very vast, you know, proper land somewhere out in the outlying. She invested, put cows, chicken, goats, trust me, and the land was so big. So for her, they had even property in Kampala, a lot of property, cars and everything. And so the man died. I'm not saying women stay longer, but I think statistics show that. But the man died during COVID. And so when the man died during COVID, the other people weren't, because I mean there was curfew, no movement, and so the burial took place upon the death of the man. When they opened up, now you are the wife. Of course, properties are many, there are benefits here and there, and so you have to file in court to get this authority to allow you, because the man did not leave a will. And so she files in court to get letters of administration to be able to manage the estate of the husband. After filing, she was our client. After filing the petition to get the letters, you should have seen how many caveats. Because once someone files to get a grant to be able to administer the estate, and you feel that this person is not a fit and proper person to administer the estate, you go to that court where they have filed this petition and lodge what we call a caveat. You're lodging a caveat to stop the court from issuing these letters of administration, because this person cannot administer this estate for the benefit of the beneficiaries. And so you're telling court, please do not give the grant. And so this lady filed upon advertisement, because you are supposed to advertise the notice of application that you're going to administer the estate. 7 caveats were lodged. 7. When I say 7, I mean 7. And these 7 caveats had 9 children. All the 7 that lodged the caveats were women who state that we are not sure that this person, the wife, is going to manage this estate for the benefit of our children, and as such, court, before you don't even grant her the authority to administer this estate. And so, of course, we were the ones handling the case. You should have seen the trouble. One woman had 2 children, the others had one. And so 9 children. And so, so then, of course, automatically, once court gets these caveats, the process of obtaining the grant stops there and then. And so we started now looking into these applications, these caveats, one after the other, and it was trouble. In fact, one of the law firms of one of the women even reached to an extent of even putting in an application for an injunction preventing our client from dealing with the estate. In other words, she should stop. And so we had to fight the application, saying, how? Because one of the prerequisites of an injunction is that the status quo has to be maintained. In other words, let everything run the way it has been running up till when the final case is actually determined. And these lawyers were actually saying they should stop. They should stop. Our client should stop managing the estate. So when she stops managing the estate, what happens? Who is going to pay the workers? How are the cows going to feed? It means the entire estate is going to go to waste. And this is what they were praying for. So at the end of the day, what are you going to what is your so-called child going to get if the estate has gotten, wasted away, So and our client could come to our office and cry. And it's like, okay, is this the law really? I retired early, got all my benefits, put them here, and this is what is happening. And we're like, no, see, that is the law. But let's try to do what we have to do. And to cut the story short, in the process, we had to, of course, to ask for DNA for all these persons to be subjected, all these other children to be subjected to DNA, to just confirm, because it was like shock to this woman. And so DNA was done. But you know what was so interesting was that even one of the lawyers actually said that even the children of our client, who are old now, 3 of them were even up, 2, they were abroad. The lawyer claimed that even those ones should be subjected to DNA, in total disregard of even what the law says. Yeah, because you can't force someone. The children of the deceased. Who are you as a lawyer representing a woman with a child out there, trying to say that even children of our client should be subjected to DNA? Can you imagine? So DNA was done, and when it was done, you can't believe only 3 children. 3 children were children of our client. But even then, the woman who had 2, and then another one who had 1. But who was engineering all this? This was a brother to the deceased person. Yeah. But these women, at one point we thought, because our client was telling us that he's the one collecting all these people. I think even these people do not know my husband or what. But when they were filing their applications, they were actually attaching evidence of birth certificate showing the man as the father. The others had pictures with the man and all that, attaching to try and fortify their allegations or their averments that they were actually connected to this gentleman. But then the DNA was done and only three were children of the deceased. So eventually the matter was handled and the others, of course, were thrown out. So what am I trying to say here for all the listeners, especially men? When you plan for even those moments. When you decide to start children out there, to have children out of your marriage, you're not brave enough to come and inform your wife and what. Plan for your children out there. Buy for them land with your partner. And when you buy that land, make sure you secure them as well. Don't even appear on that title if it's registered land. Leave the title if you're not certain of your partner. Register the land in the names of your children, the children of that partner. Register the land in the names of the children of that partner. Provide for them, because why should you even go out there when you can't manage? Go out there when you can manage. And managing means and includes planning for them as well to avoid this confusion. So when you do that, do not keep quiet. Because when you keep quiet and you don't inform some of your other people, what happens is that upon death, they will come claiming. Like we said, children rank equally. They come claiming and they have every right. The other woman will not benefit. But when you have planned for them, you have provided for them, inform some of your loved ones that, you know what, I have planned for this woman. She should never be seen coming and disturbing my wife. Whatever belongs to my wife is my wife's, and I know that one is a little, again, contrary to what we are saying, that yes, the estate will be distributed. Again, when
we seem to have lost Kiseka. Kiseka, can you hear us? I see you there, but we don't hear your voice. I know the internet could fluctuate. Okay, we have lost Kiseka. In the meantime, as she comes back, I request all the lions who are not registered very well. I see some names like Tekeno, Samsanga, MN. Can we update our IDs to ensure that the names are well written? And they should have been even much better that you include your club. Let's say Mukono host Kampala Central, so that it is easy for recording and reporting. Kiseka, you are back.
yes,
Can
I
you
am back.
conclude? Yes, let us
Yes.
conclude.
Yes, I am concluding. And I'm concluding with one other story. Of course, caution, like I said again, cautioning men out there to avoid confusion. Yeah. Inform even your partners out there. Yeah. Upon your demise, why should your partner come? For example, if there is a home, there's an ancestral home in the village where you're supposed to be buried. Yeah. You're not buried in this home where your first wife is going to, or your first wife lives. Let your partner know that they shouldn't be seen coming here, to avoid confusion. Again, another brief story, like Dr. Professor Lawrence, a client of ours comes to our office and narrates the story. Yeah. Of course, married to a husband. Yes. They have children, and the man was working with government somewhere in the outlying. So of course, along the way, she got to realize that I think this man wasn't so faithful, because you can tell. And so, unfortunately, one morning as he's coming back to Kampala, he's involved in an accident and he dies on the spot. So when he died, our client was telling us in office that she is mourning the husband. You know how you sit in your sitting room, where the neighbors are there, relatives, sorry. As she's there mourning, the gate opened. The gate opened and some woman came with the two children. The first one came with two children, like a baby toddler, and another one was around 2 years. Yeah, entered the home and put, of course, the bag there. The bag started wailing, on the social, those things, and the woman was so shocked. It's like, okay, what is happening? What is happening here? You see, she was telling us, vividly narrating the story to us, looking at this woman crying, and the children, of course, the 2-year-old was there also starting to cry because, she is looking at the situation. And our client told us that I looked at the face of the boy. It was as if they had cut my husband's face and placed it, a real version of my husband, maybe when he was young. So there was no doubt that indeed this child was for my husband. And so it was so disheartening for her. She stopped crying. She told us, my eyes there and then dried up. I was looking at the situation and I could not believe. Then shortly after, another woman came with the two now, 7 years, and one was like 9 years. Entered. Now, it was too much for her. She told us, the way she was narrating the story, it was really bad because she was even crying, until when she told us that when this woman entered and started crying, she gave us a story that she had an in-law who was in UK, and this in-law didn't have a child, and she had stayed there for quite a while. And so she had the capacity of bringing in, relatives. And she had spoken to the husband and this client of ours to have her 2 children taken to the UK to enjoy the benefits that side. And they even started on the process. She got the birth certificate, she got the passports, and they started on the process. But when along the way, the process stalled. And so when it stalled, she's like, she could ask the husband, she asked, oh, yeah, things stalled a little bit, but let's wait and see what happens. And now when this woman with her 2 children came in, cried on the sortie and say, whoa, lo, yeah. And then she said, kakati, na bana babadde balina okugenda UK, kakati ebyo tugenda bikola tutya, asking the dead body there. Now, this woman heard this lady speak about the going to the UK of her children. So she knew very well that my process stalled because my husband decided to trade my children for these ones. So my client told us that at that point, she stood up and told them, I am counting 5. You are out of my house. Now, this is a house. This is not where they're going to bury. They are burying in Kalungu, Masaka. But these 2 women are coming here in Kampala. The home is in Machiso, to come and mourn their husband in the house of another woman. She said, I am counting 5 and you are out. So she went outside and she told us, I got a wood somewhere, some wood with a nail. And I came inside and I was ready. I was so charged up, ready to beat up. I don't know. So imagine that confusion that you can create. You're gone. But imagine someone comes with a panga and they're killing another. They are burying you because she warned them, if I find you in this house, I am killing. You will go with your so-called man. So she told us that by the time she reached the sitting room, the gate was opening and they were flying out. In fact, one of them forgot the bag, and I hear she got the bag and threw it out, to follow the woman. So at that point, she laughed, and we were also, because as she was narrating, she was crying at first, and then at that point, it was kind of humorous. We all laughed, but imagine that situation. Yeah, it was so bad as that. So you warn even your partners out there. Yeah, you go to the burial grounds. We are still managing and planning. Yes, you're avoiding that confusion. Very, very important. Conclusively, death is a fact of life. And it is inevitable. What we all know about death is most of us don't know when each one of us will die. Important also is that we must anticipate disappearance or senility or disability. In cases of disability or senility or disappearance, a carefully prepared power of attorney or instrument appointing a manager of and streamlining the management of the estate will protect your estate and ensure the welfare of your children and loved ones. In the event of death, a strategic will or trust of both or hybrid of these aspects will protect the estate of the deceased and ensure the welfare of his children or her children or dependent relatives or loved ones. Therefore, we should all embrace estate planning. I thank you so much, listeners, and I thank you so much, Lion Governor, for giving me this opportunity to speak, and Lion Professor Lawrence for moderating this. Back to you, Lion Professor Lawrence.
All right, thank you so much, Council Annette Chiseka. I would request all of us in attendance to go to the reaction section and give her kudos. You can give thumbs up, you can clap, you can give a heart, because she has done a wonderful job this morning on the subject of estate planning. It is a quite technical subject. I know all the answers will not be delivered in this same session, but probably we may have, based on the demand, we may have to organize another session to further give more information and clarify. But once again, Lion Annette Chiseka, we want to thank you so much for well-delivered presentation, for giving case studies, and for giving several different examples. There are other technical terms which are legal. They may not be comprehended very fast, but at least it has given a very good start for members here to start planning for the estates. Once again, members, I'd like to request you, for those who are not well registered, update your registration. I see some iPhones and others. So we are now going to go into Q&A. Let us take about 4 questions at once. Then those ones are answered. Then we take others. In the meantime, allow me to recognize our MTA officer, and Charity Atwine. She's on board. I know she must be traveling. Then our GLT coordinator, and Gilvers Ndianabo, I've seen you around. You are most welcome. And in order to save time, let us proceed with questions. And also in the chat, we have several comments. Some of them are just appreciation. Some of them are asking some questions. And someone also in the chat got confused along the way. But it is understandable. Over to you, members. Anyone? If you want to speak, you raise your hand and I unmute you. Anyone? Otherwise, we are going to go into the chat. Yes, Ronald, go ahead. Ronald,
Yes,
unmute
good
and go
morning.
ahead. Yes, good morning, Ronald.
Lions and guests. Thank you very much for that interesting presentation. I just had one question. You mentioned a pauper can write a will and choose where to be buried. What if the pauper decides to be buried in property that is not theirs? How do you handle such a case? I submit.
All right, thank you so much, Ronald, for that question. Do we have another one? Let us be quick. Just in case you are not able to unmute yourself, raise the hand. I will enable you to speak.
Hello.
Yes, and Ndwela, go ahead.
Yes, this is Fortunate, Unfortunate Mukono host.
Yes, Fortunate, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to ask Council Annette here. She said all children have equal rights. But this situation where, yes, I am married and I buy properties with my husband, both in our names. He brings 50, I bring 50. He goes there and sires 10 children out of my no. Now these 10 children come and they want to share the same property. These women have been enjoying with this man, nothing they have contributed on our estates, and they want to bring these 10 children to us. to take also part of my contribution as a wife. How do they handle that in courts of law? Thank you.
Fortunate that is well noted. The council will give you response. Any other one? We want to be quick. If you are not able to unmute, Gabriel, do you want to speak?
Yes.
Yes, Gabriel,
Yes,
go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Annette. My question is, when someone is writing a will, at what age can someone start the will? Is it at an adult age, or someone even can start writing a will when he's not yet an adult? I submit.
I think, Gabriel, that one has been noted. The age, any other? Do we have any other question, comment? Otherwise, we will go into responses. Okay, I seem not to have another hand. And Annette, could you please respond to those few questions? And if you had time to go to the chat, you could have seen a few more comments from the chat. Over to you, Annette.
Thank you so much, Professor Lawrence, and thank you for the questions, for all those that I've asked. I would start with a pauper who wills to be buried in a place that does not belong to them. We know that that you cannot make a will that is mad with falsehoods or that is not proper. Yeah, you only make a will when you know if someone wills to be buried in a place where they're not supposed to be buried, then certainly you can't allow that. But we all know that no one can remain on top. If you're dead, certainly even town council will bury you, or I mean, you are buried. But also we know that everyone has where they came from. They have this ancestral home. Yeah. And you know that Banzi Kawano, in case I pass, at least this is my ancestral home. So for one to will to be buried in a place where they are not supposed, they will not, because the owners will not allow. And for as long as they have evidence to prove that this person does not own this property and as such can't be buried there, certainly they will not bury them there. And the relatives might look for elsewhere to, bury them. Yeah. Unfortunate's question, all children, you have 50 shares. Yes. During distribution, like I said, children rank equally. Yeah, equally. So what happens in the circumstances, you as fortunate, a wife, you take your 50%. That one is not touched. And then the children, the 10 out there, plus yours and you will again share from the 50% that belongs to your late husband, God forbid. Yes, the 50%, only the property that belongs to the deceased person is subject to distribution. And when it comes to the children out there, they also partake of that share. For you, you take your 50%, not touched, and the 50% will be available for distribution. Will, at what age? The age in Uganda, who is a child, when an adult person starts from the age of 18 years and above, if you have, they used to say 21, but if you have properties to actually will, you can make a will. A minor will not, because, I mean, you may not be able to, that will not be restricted. But as an adult, and an adult as per our laws is 18 years and above, yeah, you can make a will for as long as you have something to say in that will. In the chat,
All right. In the chat, then I want to read for you this one. I found the matter of executors confusing. In one case, the law required 3 executors to seek letters of administration. They lived in different locations and found the process demanding on their time. They were advised, I think something, or they were advised to revoke their appointment by saying they are unable. The family then resorted to operating like there was no will by seeking letters of administration. Any comment in response to that?
Yes. Again, when this one goes back to you as the testator, the person who is making a will. Don't make a will, because we know executors are supposed to be actually people that are benefiting from the estate. Don't choose people that are in America to administer your estate when you know they are not available. Don't choose someone who is in Afghanistan. It's going to be hard for that person to come and administer the estate. Choose a person who is available. And very important is actually you tell your people to actually have national IDs, because without even a national ID, it becomes hard for you to even get that grant. So again, where it is so hard to administer as an executor. An executor is a person who's appointed. They don't have numbers. They don't say you choose 3. You decide. You can have 1 executor of your estate, or 2 or 3, depending. But the less you have, the better, because when you make so many executors, then certainly confusion sometimes arise. So you make sure you choose an executor who is not going to find it so complicated to actually administer the estate. Every time there is some kind of complexity, it means they will set aside these executors, and like you stated, they will go through the process of obtaining letters of administration, of course, with this will attached to that petition for administration. So you make it seamless by appointing someone who's going to be available to actually administer your estate.
Right. Another quick one is that I don't know if this question or observation, most times wills are opened after the burial is done. How then does this thing of where the person wills to be buried get, I think, get considered?
It's a little bit complex. That's why some people, as soon as someone dies, they will come and read the will. You do not wait ng'Abaganda bwe bagamba nti no tujja kusoma ekiraamo okusoma ekiraamo mulumbe. And yes, Bagandas actually take during the last funeral, some Baganda decide to actually read the will. So
it's okay. Go ahead. I've managed it.
It's important that that as soon as someone dies, a will is opened, because burial rights are exercising the will. It is opened and read, so then you ascertain whether there is even that wish in the will, and follow it accordingly.
All right, thank you so much, Council. I think we have had some good interface. You have given a pro bono services, and I think the rest of the other questions and others, individual members can come to your chambers for further follow-up. But otherwise, as for the Lions, as for the purpose of this presentation, you have done us a good thing. We are now much more informed of the processes that is required. So members, allow me that we are going to stop here quickly and go into administrative aspects. And I'm just checking if our governor is around to give us some remarks and some communication. And if not, I'm trying to look through the list. I'm not seeing her. In the meantime, I see our LCIF coordinator here, district who is the former GLT coordinator. So allow me to invite Ryan Gervas Ndianabo to make a few remarks. And then we have our former GLT coordinator, the current LCIF coordinator, to give a few remarks and close this meeting on behalf of the DG. Over to you, Ryan Ndianabo. Is Ndianabo still around? If not, let me invite our LCIF coordinator, Ryan John Bosco Tangare, to give a few administrative issues and a few remarks, and we close the training this morning. JB, are you available? Now I'm not getting any response.
Lawrence, I'm available.
Oh, okay, okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Lion Lawrence. A good morning to you all, fellow Lions, Rios, and guests. I would like to use this opportunity to thank our presenter of this morning, Lion Annette Chiseka. I thought, Lion Lawrence, as you introduced her, you would mention that she is also a former police officer who transitioned and became a lawyer. So, Lion Annette, thank you for sharing. This knowledge is very important and it affects all of us. I'm sure we have picked a lot of lessons we should now execute so that we don't leave our estates in disorder. Sometimes I've seen people dying and you say, aha, this one has left disorder behind. Now, by making this presentation, you are helping us not to leave disorder behind when we go, because we don't know when we shall go. I would also like to thank the participants for waking up early and being part of this presentation. Every Saturday, we have free learning. Your only expense is the data and time. So please look out for other presentations and be part of them. As DG mentioned, we have the international president visiting us. In my lifetime as a Lion, over 20 years, I think I haven't seen a sitting president visiting us. So this is an honor that we have AP Sync visiting us from 22nd, 24th of September. And the governor gave me the responsibility of organizing, of chairing the organizing committee. As she mentioned, we shall have a banquet on the 22nd, on Tuesday, 23rd. The fee is 100,000, Imperial Royal Hotel. It will be preceded by a Q&A where you ask your international president, and we expect all clubs to be represented. We are booked over 200 seats for you at Imperial Royal, so we expect you to take up those seats. His mission, he will be here to promote Mission 1.5, and he has challenged us that every month we should be reporting at least one new lion. So we expect all clubs to register their inductees with the GMT coordinator, so they are inducted on that day, and it will be very memorable for these new lions. He will also, if you are promoting any club and it can be chartered before then, he'll be very happy to make the presentation of the charter. He will also be honoring those who have donated to our foundation. So I'm requesting all of you to make your donations through your club coordinators, so that on that day, those who have donated will be honored. That is as far as the visit of the international president is concerned. We will also be having the Emerging Lands Leadership Institute from the 24th, 26th of October in Kampala. We have 20 slots as District 411B. Once the forms come out, please apply and be part of the institute. 20 slots are not many, but try your luck and see if you will be among those that will be selected to be part of that institute. The Africa Forum is in Kigali. The early bird has been extended 31st of August. Take advantage and be part of that forum. Since it is in our neighborhood, we can even travel by road. Those who don't have passports, the national IDs, the original IDs will be able to, will be accepted at the border with Rwanda. So with those remarks, I once again want to thank you, our presenter, for making a very enlightening presentation, and you, participants, for logging in. I saw us hitting 100, and I'm glad we provided the YouTube for the excess capacity. With that, I want to wish you a splendid weekend.
All
And
right, thank you
the
so
training is closed.
All right, thank you so much, our LCIF coordinator and our deputy MCC for those good closing remarks. I would like to remind my fellow Lions that next week be prepared to learn more on the Lions protocol. So do not miss, it is an important training as we prepare to receive our international president in September. Once again, thank you so much. And the members who joined via YouTube, be kind, send us your names so that they are added on the list of those to be reported. And if you want to review what has been presented, it will still be available on YouTube. You can go back and listen to this important presentation. Once since the meeting has already been closed, now we are open for HMESA for the next 5 minutes. You can put on your videos, you can chat, you can give some jokes. Over to you, members. It is your time. Thank you.
Good morning from SETA.
Yes, good morning. You can now unmute yourselves. Let me see if I can. I had done a trick of not allowing everybody to unmute at the same time. Let me see if I can quickly
Good morning
that.
from
Good morning.
Tengera from Kungu. Tengera Lions, good morning.
From Entebbe.
Good morning.
Namara, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you?
And remember, thank you so much. Today we hit 100 and we went to YouTube. That was very great.
Good morning, Lions. From Hoima, Albertine. Good morning, Lions.
Good morning, Lions. This is Loim Ramra, Entebbe Road, Lions Club.
Good morning, Lions. This is Edison's Lion Gatti from Entebbe Road.
Hello, Daddy.
Morning, Lions. This is Dicky from Manyangwa Lions Club.
Good morning. This is Richard from Entebbe Road Lions Club. Good morning.
Morning. This is Pore from Chirahost.
Good morning. This is Lion Frank Muramura from Entebbe Road Lion Club.
Good morning. This is Irene from Corner Host.
Good morning. James Marines from SETA Lions Club.
Morning.
Good morning, Kanyonyole Joseph from Barara Lions Club. Lion Annette, thanks for the presentation. It was very good, well presented.
You are most welcome, Council.
Lion Chiseka, thank you very much. It was a very nice presentation, but you did not tell us where your chambers are found so that we can come and consult individually.
The good thing, she's available. You can always send her an inbox. If you don't have her phone number, we request the Lions of Mukono host to put it on Lions of Uganda. Right, I think we are very good. We are going to, it is coming a few minutes to 9. We should prepare for our weekend. I'm going to be ending the fellowship in the next few minutes. Otherwise, thank you so much and enjoy the weekend.
Thank you, Ryan Lawrence.
Thank you.
Thank you, bye.
Nice weekend to all.
Bye-bye.